looking back to your childhood days, would you say that your parents were friendly with you or they were your actual friends?
They were friendly.
With the understanding of friendship you now
They
have
were
as an adult.
they were friendly, but they were never my friends.
Okay, what
Ever.
informed, that decision that your parents were not your friend? What was the experience like?
I wouldn't know why they chose that path, but I think on the long run, if I sit now and look back, it makes sense. It makes sense. Die. I grew up in Warri.
Okay.
I was born in Port Harcourt. I grew up in Warri.
Okay.
So and I'm pretty sure you have an idea how Warri it's
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. So I feel like the environment a person is growing up in, right? I'm from Bayelsa State, born in Port Harcourt.
So from Bayelsa, you were born in Port Harcourt and then grew up in Warri. Wow, what a South movement.
Niger Delta, and I went to Benin too, temporarily. Long story. So
now only cross river and
Niger Delta. So the point is, I feel because of the environment that we were living in, right, it required them to be very
firm. Strict.
Not very, very strict, but firm.
Okay.
I grew up with my parents not together at some point in my life.
Okay.
My mom, we had to leave Port Harcourt, and then my mom and my dad separated, so it was just my dad. Now, my dad was working offshore. So you wouldn't just leave young adolescents in the house. So it now formed the need to have a stepmom.
Oh, okay.
Right? So now my stepmother comes in, but then my dad is usually not very much around. And then she also understood that my dad doesn't joke with his kids. And not joking with his kids is not just being nice and friendly with them. Like, you should know how to discipline them when they mess up. So as friendly as my dad was and my stepmom was, and we love them, they buy you stuff, take you places, do all these nice things, good school, that every time my dad comes back with that shot of 100 naira, we had meat pie and coke. It was constant.
No, that was
I don't know if I can say coke, I'm not promo.
We had Mr. Biggs.
So it was not anytime. The moment my dad just comes back from offshore, everywhere
it's
excited.
Like Christmas,
because we know, say almost every day meat pie and coke, constant. And then your 50 naira then was Wazobia now, was highest currency, so it was 2. When he first came out, it just you know that kind of feel like new money, and then your father will give you hold it, and you look at it
big boy among your peers, yeah.
But in the midst of all of that niceness, you don't want to play. It was almost like you hear, that thing they say, you hear the car on, everybody adjusts. I can't sit in the living room, for instance, and a visitor comes into the house, and then I'm still seated there.
Okay.
The moment a visitor is entering the house, and
go to your room.
Me, I don't need anybody.
Or get busy with anything.
I cannot. You cannot. You can't be busy in your room. You just rise and just move. It's automatic.
Okay.
There are stuff you can't even watch. We might be watching a movie. I remember then the James Bond and the Van Damme movie, especially that Van Damme guy. That guy put us for trouble. Because his movies usually would have some explicit scenes. So we're watching the movie and you're suspecting that some kind of things want to have. You don't need to see, you just get up and just move. And
after a while you come back.
See, that was the first time that happened. My dad said, "Why did you get up?"
He asked you.
Yeah, he asked, why did you get up? Now when I think about it, I figured he was trying to understand what I knew.
Okay. But did you answer him?
I was like, Dad, in biology. And so my dad laughed, and then I think that was a man conversation at that point. Because then I was in SS1, just SS1.
Oh, okay.
So that was we had
But did he now have a proper conversation?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that was a conversation we now had about girls. And it was are there girls in your school, girls you like? And then he started asking those questions. And then it got to the point that I even said, come to the house with your
friends.
Yes.
Yeah. So your dad was your friend, huh?
So no. That's what it was friendly. I think people need to understand it. Being friendly it means I try to understand your life.
Okay.
All right. You have. I'm sure you have guys or friends that, how would I put it? People in your family, right? That you respect a lot. You cannot come and be playing draft with them, or you cannot tell them that they cannot tell you do this and say, I no get friend, I cannot do it. If your friend wants you to do stuff, if he says, I beg, if he help me with this stuff,
you can tell him
you just
no.
I know they do, I know fit, and it's your friend. We'll do now. You can't do that with your parents.
Okay.
So I think that's where the line is crossed. Like, as much as parents these days are trying to be nice and trying to be friendly with their kids. So you see, I was in a vehicle traveling to Warrior, and then a woman with her child is sitting down. Then another man was there, and then the next thing is the man. Mommy, this man here stinks. I can't sit next to him. Ibabu. In my head,
Okay, so what did the mom do?
That's what I'm
Did
saying.
did she scold him or her?
Scold Guinea gun what? Say, no, this is how the scolding was. You don't say that to strangers. It's not like, this kid ain't going to hear what you're saying. It's not going to work like that.
Okay. Okay.
It wouldn't. So,
Okay.
like,
Do you know
need
why
to
I
be
asked you
more-
this question? It was
Why?
because I saw a TV show recently, Jennifer Hudson's show, and a guest on that show, she had said that as a parent, your child is not your friend. You can be friendly, but you are not their friend. Your job as a parent is to be right and not to be liked.
Yeah.
And then she proceeded to say that her son did not drink alcohol, in her presence till he was 35. That the moment you become friends with your children, you already make them cross the line and they can talk to you anyhow. And when
Yeah.
you try to nip it,
Becomes
it's already
difficult.
too late.
True. It's fact.
So you agree with her
Fact, 100%.
that from the get-go you have to set
Yeah,
boundaries.
except for a slight part of it. I think the only place I would have small issues is where she talked about the right thing you mentioned. Something
Yes, she
about-
said as a parent you're supposed your job is to be right and not liked.
So that part is where I think like we misinterpret in our own sense. Most of the beatings we took while we were young was not because we did something wrong. It was
Okay.
because our parents did not like what we did.
Without even considering why we did it.
It's not whether it was wrong. They did not like it. So they just hit your head because they didn't like it, not because it was wrong. But you did something that they did not like. So you are now even more confused. Because you're like, why they conk me? What did I do? Because in your head, what you did was right. But your parents didn't like it. And I think like, that's a line many parents don't really like.
And because they
look
don't
at.
like it, they also expect you
Not to do
like it
You're not supposed to like.
subconsciously.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why they hit you.
Whether you think you were right for doing it or not.
Exactly. It's same thing in schools. Like you go to school, a child is owing school fees, and then you flog the child. Really, in real sense, is the child the one paying the school fees?
Okay.
So why are you beating the child? You get so like, but aside that misunderstanding some people have, she was like spot on 100% correct. Like there's no. Like I was saying, like with your friends, when you become there's about familiarity. Okay, even look at relationships now. A guy that you just met
you
and you
get
guys are
so
nice.
comfortable.
By the time you people become you almost don't like I'm telling you, babe. Normally when the relationship starts, if it says, babe, do this thing, you just you go and yeah. But the closer you get and the more comfortable you get with each other, babe, I can't do it now. I'm tired. I'll do it later.
But you do it later now. Will you not do it later?
No. Why even Bible tell you why you go postpone what if you do now to later?
But you will do it later.
That's
I'm
the-
tired
that's the-
now.
exactly.
Wait, does my tiredness
so
not count?
your parents, like your
Uh.
parents aren't your boyfriend or your friend. They are not. So when they say it's order, that's what this. If you are in your office,
Okay.
and your boss gives you a task and says, do you tell your boss that you're tired now? Even if your boss sometimes we see you they do one thing, you can't bring another thing add to you, say, do this one. And you look at it, rather than say, but I cannot do it now, you're like, okay, you will find like,
But you wrote in your CV that you can work under pressure.
oh wow, it's not. So you don't see
You
the
wrote
thing.
in your CV that you can work under pressure.
That's the point. Like you see that this is how I see it. Like the home, the family is an organization.
Okay.
Just
okay.
like you have in any office, any company, where you have a CEO and then you have execs and you have everybody know their role.
You have subordinates.
That's what it is at home. It's like the husband, the wife, the kids. Like everybody know there's
It's
a
well
role thing,
structured, yeah.
structured. Like nobody should make anybody feel like, oh, this thing is so. It's not correct. It's structured. Even how the parents go to run the kids, the person who institutes the home, God, still gave a manual. Like this is so. It means that there are lines, there are things that even the God that created us is friendly with us, but not be our friend. That's what they'll tell you. You get overused to a pastor or something. They say you miss. They are not okay. Give an example. Even with the Israelites, God was giving them manna. They shop manna everything.
They fall from heaven and it's
So now they call they see God like. How far
Our
you now?
mates.
You don't understand, like, or God was talking to Moses. Why now Moses can talk to you? Like they did not understand that as much as this God nice. No, there's like
There are boundaries.
and it's that kind of order that God passed. I believe God
Okay.
passed to man and
Okay.
a wife and children. It's like that kind of order. So like the man is there and then the wife, and then so as much as you are friendly, the reason why you're friendly is so that your kids can talk to you. You can talk to them, relate with them,
You
listen
don't
to
need to
them,
scare them.
so that they're not afraid of you.
Okay.
All right, but you still be the lion of the tribe of Judah at the same time.
But there are actually
Yeah.
people, right? There are young adults who are married now who do not see things from this perspective of you and this guest on Jennifer Hudson's show, who feel like it was trauma for them.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Do they feel it was trauma for them, or the programming of the society now makes them think it's trauma?
How do you think the society is programmed compared to before?
This is how I think of it. Every government in the world makes policies. The policies that they make is for a goal. There's a reason why they decide to say this is how we want our society to function.
Okay.
There's something they want to achieve. And that's what we miss when we copy the Western world most of the times. And by Western world, let me just say America. That's where we pick most of the things from. There's a reason, there's something the American government seeks to achieve at the end. That's why it structured the system this way, so it helps it accomplish that goal.
Okay.
Now, you don't know what that thing is.
You just copy it.
But if you
because
look at the
like
American
it.
society, you might begin to have an idea what this is. Now, do you want your society to be like that? So if you don't, then you should not copy the blueprint that they put on ground, because that's the result that comes. Now, I'll tell you something. I went somewhere to fix my iPad, and I saw a mom come in there, and then once more, I boy reach 5 years. They come buy iPad for her.
Okay.
They lick ice cream, they chop my money. I'm like, what did they sup here? What's this thing? I see the mom. Oh, and for parents these days, it's status. Like, the kids are. Like, I don't know. It gives them this in society. I know that they
Gen
place them.
Alpha, they call
I don't
them.
know. I want to explain her. Like, they feel like, what you could see, like the pride in her. Like, oh, how much is this one? The boy said, "Mommy, I don't like that one." It's just like, yeah, man. Who be this? I didn't use a phone
Yeah.
till I finished secondary school.
Same here.
My dad said to me, I remember clearly.
For me,
you
I
are
had
meant
to pass my jam. Yeah.
Okay, my
Yeah,
dad
I had to
didn't
pass
put
my
those
jam
things.
first.
My dad said to me, "You are not mentally ready to use this device." I didn't understand what he was saying then, but now I'm like,
You appreciate it.
God bless that man.
Okay.
My mom had to hide because I told my parents separated. So my mom was in Bayelsa then. She would hide and bought me my first phone. It was a Bird Flip. All right, it was blue screen color. So since my dad didn't want all those phones that had games and everything and all that stuff, right? So she bought that. She hide them. So like saying, "You can call me. Don't worry, that you don't see it." Like, and again, it brings us to why I understand even better why a woman is the way a woman is and a man is the way a man is. But that's another day conversation. Because when I look at what my mom did that time too and what my dad did, it created a balance.
Okay.
In my life,
So
right?
I was going to ask you, for someone who grew up, your parents were separated. Yeah. What was the experience like? Do you think you would have turned out differently if you had both parents in the same space as compared to them being separated?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't advise anybody to be in that situation. Like anybody. I feel like my younger ones, like in different ways, were all I think even myself in different ways, like were affected by that scenario. Like that particular action. Like my parents might not understand like to what degree. All right. And I think we're in the world where our parents we don't seek knowledge about these sort of things. I believe life is force, and like every action, if you move as much as this thing, you just move it here, you've caused a ripple effect.
True.
Like it might not be physical injury, but like you've done something, and you might not know what you've done until maybe sometime later in the future it begins to play out. So for me, it was mentally, it was a problem. Like even now, I look at some parts of my life and I'm like, if I had a mom like more present, right, I would have known this part about women more. Maybe I would have understood what it was like to treat a woman like this better.
Okay.
Maybe I would have. So these things now, you now have to start learning from where? Movies, novels, the ladies you see around you, your body peaks, and the thing is your skin. Right? Your body carries more information than your brain. Sharp. Your body carries more information than your brain. I tell you how you talk. So, but your body, right? That's the reason why you go to some place and your body feels like you've been there.
Okay.
All right? It's not your brain interprets things. Your body is what
Feels.
is what carries the information. Like there's some places in India where they don't allow you to touch them. They just do namaste. There's a reason why they don't, because the body carries plenty of information that you don't even know your body has.
Okay, that's
Another way.
that's a whole
Yeah.
conversation.
So because of that, right, I have to like look at it now, and I'm like, if my parents were together, it would have been a lot different. And I felt like I missed a few things, because I remember then in school now, and they were not in good terms. That's even worse. When they're not in good terms, that's even worse.
So they were co-parenting, but not in good terms.
See, they were not even co-parenting.
Ha.
In Nigeria, how many times do they separate and then they co-parent? It takes a while before, like, okay, it took a while before my dad would now say, go see your mom.
So you were shuttling between mom and dad.
Yes, and it was difficult because I had to hide to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, because like your dad, I don't want to see your mom. There's always that, and your mom, your dad is like, so now you're in school and holidays coming.
But I mean, our parents, from our parents' generation, most of them who stayed in, say, an abusive marriage or relationship did that. And they will always tell you, I stayed because of the children. Do you think they were trying to avoid what you had, your experience? Was that why they had to stay back? Because you hear women tell you, now the children make me stay.
Yeah. I think they might not understand that. They might not understand it to this degree at the time. When they say that the children make me stay, I don't think they understood it to be like, if I'm away, it's going to affect the child in this way. They just did it from a place of, I don't know if I allow that woman to train my picking or look my picking.
Or they will say, I'm born for here, born for
No,
here.
those are the things that they looked at. It wasn't really like they understood
The effect it will have on the child.
That this has a role. Like, it takes two people to make a child. They cannot take one person to raise the child. It will take the two. Because it's your DNA the year. Scientifically proven.
Both parties have a role to play in shaping the life of
that's
that
why
child.
you need the two people, because this person's DNA has gathered information over years, and your owners, and then two of them came together and made you. So you need the two of them to put your mind in balance, in check. Now it wasn't my case. So school closed December, so that's Christmas, and they go out day school. Because you're like, if I go this side, so my mom will call, where are you? But you don't know how to down tell them. So this is where, in our times, most of our parents were not friendly enough. Right? So you don't know how to, like, tell them that, mommy, this thing. Or, like,
So you couldn't open up about how you felt.
Because at that point, she's also dealing with her own emotions and everything. She's not happy about everything now. So if I come up and bring up that shit, like, say, don't talk about, because she's hurt. It's like same thing with young women these days. You have a bad breakup. The next guy will hear him. It's just kind of like, that's similar to what happened with kids when they
transfer.
So the kids, sometimes she comes from work and for no reason she just yelling at us, and now that we're older we understand better.
Okay.
But in all, she was still, I don't think she should have been over friendly.
Okay.
I think I'm cool with how it was. She was nice. She would listen to us on some issues, but it wasn't as deep as perhaps
you would have expected
wanted
her to.
Yeah.
So wrapping this up, what would you do differently from your own experience, the experience you had with your parents growing up, even to the point of being a young adult? What would you do differently as a dad, as a parent?
Do differently.
Would you replicate, the same method, same blueprint? How your parents were friendly, but they were not your friends. They were firm, like you said.
Yeah.
Or you raise your kids totally different?
No, not the way they raise me, I raise them. With a little bit of tweak.
Okay, so what's the tweak in it?
All right, this is the tweak. The tweak is because we're now in the future. It's a different society. And so I'm opportune to know some things my parents did not know in their time.
Okay.
So to be only wise to add some of those things into what there's a reason why the past is important.
So you're not discarding.
Yes, you can't discard it. You cannot ever.
Bringing.
That's the reason why we have older generations pass down knowledge to the coming ones. Because the past is important. So you now add a little of where you are to what they have taught you and create a new process. Like what happens in the US now. Look now. They are even telling you that I cannot tell the beginning that beginning I go tell you that ain't be male, ain't be female, ain't be car, identify as anything.
It's a whole lot of chaos.
You understand? Like, yes, a society, right? So you cannot be telling me now that we should now abandon what we had before and copy that. Like, we're going to just descend into what we don't understand. So the balance is, yes.
We're going to take from the
old and then you
add
adjust
a little bit of the
new.
new.
So I'm not going to beat my Peking. Like maybe if I discipline my child,
you
I would
also
make him understand why. So he knows why. So that doesn't just end up with them do me and then beat me. They don't tell me what I do. They all conk me. I remember one time.
Just draw your ear or you sleep for night.
True story.
They begin wipe you.
My stepmom said, "I go bring stew." No, stool.
Okay.
So at the time, the stool sounded like stew. So I now went inside. It really matters. Who can I laugh? I went inside and I brought the pot of. No. They say, come.
And you will go.
You know, won't go. See, if 1,000,000 times, even if you know what they want to do to you, you have to go and collect it. I always go collect it. I always go there, oh my 2 ear, twist eyes and raise me up. Tell me back, go bring
stool.
I can't be confused now. But I don't bring this thing. So you know that's I now go back to that I can't stand. I don't know what to bring. You get the I don't know what I won't bring. I was like, what am I bring? So in my case, perhaps it should be different. Now I would say discipline the kids, but I would now like make
also
talk.
Communicate with them. I think that was what was lacking in our parents' time. They did not really communicate as much.
They apologize to
they
us.
Should.
You know, the apology is take Fanta. You don't hungry, go and eat.
They bought you that shoe you've been eyeing, basically.
So there's no conversation. I think that's one thing we can tweak and to make. All
right, IFIEMI, thank you so much, Andrew. I'm sure that those watching have learned a thing or two, and I'm sure they'll share their thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for coming on the Triple F podcast. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, over to you. Don't forget to share your thoughts, like, subscribe, and tell a friend about this podcast. Bye.